Okay.
Just, I'll call us back. Great, I will call the park board back into public session, and I'd like to acknowledge Commissioner North, who is our chair of our search committee.
Great, thank you, President Getz. So today we're here just with 4 of the commissioners. The remainder of our selection committee has since departed. Today we met with 2 candidates that we have interviewed, and we have no further interviews at this point in time scheduled. I want to just go through the history of what has occurred and how this search has been conducted. As many people know, we have been with an interim director since December. That was interim director John Nyer. And then last month, Steve Pasella assumed the role, coming over from the Recreation Commission to take the reins from John and help us through this time of transition. And both of those have done excellent work. We're deeply grateful for their contributions to the parks. I think it's been clear in the media and those that have paid attention, there's been a lot of turnover in this role in the past few years, as we didn't quite hit it right for a long-term director. And it's been, we've been, as commissioners, I know I speak on behalf of the commissioners when I say we have a deep dedication to getting this candidate right. We talked in the early days of selection about the things that were important in this role, and we have been steadfast in looking for those. In fact, when we opened the application period and closed it the first time, we just didn't feel that the applicant pool was adequate for us to have a large number of highly capable leaders for us to consider. When we reopened that application period, many leaders in the Cincinnati area made applications, and we have spoken to many of those. On an informal basis, I would say primarily President Getz and I pre-screened over individually, we pre-screened over telephone calls, coffee meetings. I'll say at least 20 candidates, maybe 30 candidates. We've had a lot of discussions and really learned a lot about the different ways that different director candidates would approach this role. We also elevated, I think, 8 candidates to the interview stage, and we have interviewed all election committee in teams of 2 to have more informal meetings with some of those candidates over coffees, lunches, breakfast, to get some insight into how they would conduct themselves in a more informal setting. As you can imagine, interviewing in this hot seat setup and a chair in the front is not the most conducive to getting to know someone. So I'm really happy and proud of what we've done. There have been a tremendous number of hours put forth, not only by the commissioners, but others from the selection committee, including Brian Tiffany and Dan Vogelpool, who represented the Cincinnati Parks Foundation. This has been tough to sift through in terms of, which candidates are strongest. We've had so many strong candidates. We met with people outside of Cincinnati, inside of Cincinnati, people that have extensive nonprofit experience, people that have extensive government experience, people that have spent most of their careers actually working in the city. So I'm pleased with how much career diversity we have looked at there. Prior or during our process, Vice President Thomas and President Getz met with the staff to really sift through also what would be the important attributes of a strong director in this position. And what we narrowed in on is this is a hard job. It's a tough job. It requires someone that really can advocate for the parks in a lot of capacities, from city hall to community to the foundation. It's really someone that can bring visionary leadership, coalesce around priorities that can assist the park board in making decisions. It's someone who can connect with, inspire, and value staff at all levels of the organization, that can be as comfortable in a suit as they are in a pair of boots. This is a really unique person. It's someone that understands and illustrates the power of listening, someone who cares deeply for people and who really knows how to nurture the commitment of a strong team, which is something that the parks benefit from already and greatly. This is, I would say, even a bit of a difficult proposal that I plan to make today, but it's one that I feel greatly confident in. I think while there were many strong candidates, in my mind, there is one who really can connect all these dots that I've just outlined. I would like for the board today to consider extending an offer to Jason Barron. I don't believe that we will have enough information today to put together the particulars on salary and start date, but as a next step, I think we would work with our HR team in all the steps necessary in making an offer and onboarding an individual. With that, I'll turn it over to other commissioners for question and comment.
You know, from my perspective, I want to, first of all, thank Molly for shepherding us through this process. I agree. We had so many very qualified, interested individuals. And from my perspective, narrowing it down to the 8 that we called in to meet with face-to-face, re-emphasized with me just what good candidates that we had to choose from, which is very encouraging. And it even makes it harder today to finally make a decision because even those, especially those that we had second interviews with today, I am extremely confident that both of those candidates could do this job very effectively. So from that standpoint, I'm going to consider all of the things that we had set aside as you laid out for us, which candidates that we saw best meet the objectives that we had set out on a board, and looking for that true inspirational leader for this organization. And as I consider those will be the key things in my mind, who can be an inspiration and build upon the great culture that we have and the great staff that we already have in place today. And then who could we bring on board to help lead that staff and help us identify how we're going to get to the next stage, where are we going next. So from that standpoint, I know I'm ready to make a decision on that as well. But I'll open it up. Are there other input before we actually have any motions?
I would just like to say thank you to Commissioner North for leading us through this process. It's a very, very important several months that we've spent trying to get to this point. And I echo that. I am very pleased that we were able to look at a very good group of candidates and to spend time with them and have them tell us about their experience and share with them the kinds of things that we are looking for. I also want to appreciate our staff, one, for doing a tremendous job during this transition. They have stepped up and filled in the gap in terms of delivering safe and attractive parks, as they always do. So we are very fortunate to have an incredible staff. in the course of this process, as Commissioner North has alluded to, we had the opportunity to get together with staff and talk to them about what they saw based on from their perspective, what they saw as important characteristics in the leader that would be right for this time in our history. And they talked about a visionary leader. They talked about a leader, one who could be the face of the parks to the public, one that could inspire internally. So those are the kinds of things that have been going through my mind in terms of how we choose the person who's going to take on this very important role. And I think that over the course of all the various conversations that we've had individually and as a group, we've gotten some good information. And I think we're at a point now where we can move forward. So thank you very much.
Just want to thank the three of you for carrying the load on this. You guys did a tremendous job. Molly, thank you for spearheading this. I know there's countless hours that went into this, and I appreciate everything that you, Linda, and Jim have done. Echo, gosh, the staff is they're the bedrock of the organization, and what happens up at the top is obviously very critical, but the staff over these past months have shown what they can do, and it's amazing work. And I also think I thought it was a great idea for you guys to elicit from staff the needs and what attributes they saw as important to the leadership. So I'm happy that we've come to this point. I think we've had some really good candidates. This has been a very difficult decision, but I too am ready to make a choice.
Having said that, then, Molly, you made a proposal. Would you like to make a motion that we will
Yes,
consider?
I would like to make a motion that we proceed to drafting an offer for Jason to join us at a date to be determined in discussion with him at a salary that is to be discussed with him and then also brought back to the board for full approval once those details are determined.
Thank you. That's a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Lindner. I'd like for you to do a roll call, if you would, Tia.
President Getz,
Yes.
Vice President Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Castellini,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Lindner,
Yes.
Commissioner North,
Yes.
passes.
Thank you. And I appreciate those who have tuned in. And again, thank you to the commissioners for what has been very productive and a big time commitment on everybody's part. So I very much thank you for your volunteer efforts and the number of hours that you put into this. And with that, we will